Hi guys, for Labour taking over, the problems aren't just economic, but every day the government seems to open a new can of worms. Prisons, for example, are overcrowded, and more people can't be sent to them for that simple fact. So in order to alleviate the problem, some prisoners are going to be released early. Now, of course, the right-wing media is having a meltdown over it and is blaming the Starmer government for this. However, Mark Icke of the Prison Governors Association lays the blame with those squarely responsible, the Conservatives. Have a listen.
First of all, how bad is overcrowding in our prisons, and how badly needed do you think action is?
Yeah, there's no way of describing it other than it is a crisis. Overcrowding is the worst I've ever experienced. I joined in the late 90s, around 40,000 people in custody and around 90,000 today. So it can tell you over the years it's got to a pretty shocking state where we've got more people in custody than we can really deal with.
Well, yes, and Keir Starmer says it was reckless to let prisons come within a fortnight of reaching overflowing. Do you agree with that? Who's to blame for this situation, would you say?
Well, we absolutely need to lay the blame at the previous government. We were warning them for some time and working very closely with ministerial teams. And for whatever reason, they never got it over the line. We were campaigning for this 40% for some time. So unfortunately, and I hate to say, we need to lay the blame at the previous government. But we've got to a point where we've got so many people in custody that we're near a total collapse of the criminal justice system. Because if we don't release some of these prisoners who are, and let's be honest, we will risk assess all those prisoners. I'm sure today we will see details of the plans, and we will risk assess those people before release. So it will only be those that we deem safe and ready. Because what the alternative is, it's like I say, a total collapse of the criminal justice system. So people not being arrested, people not being able to be held in police cells, and people not being able to go to prison, and I think everybody deserves to feel safe. So I think that, and the Prison Governors Association absolutely believe that this is the right measure. 40% will give us the ample opportunity to risk assess the right people ready for release and bring those into custody that absolutely need to be there. Well
said. But see, just think about it for a moment. The prisons are full or close to complete capacity. How can you send more people into prison? People are committing crimes all the time, so they need to go to prison. But they can't be sent because the prisons are full. Why? Because the Tories have not invested enough in the prison and criminal justice system. Now, the right-wing media, as I said, is blaming the Labour Party over this. Keir Starmer releasing all these people, these criminals, these dangerous criminals. But as was pointed out here by the governor, or the association representing governors, that they're going to risk assess each of these prisoners. So they're not just going to open the doors and let 40% out. But this is a measure to deal with a problem. The problem shouldn't exist in the first place. You need to build enough prisons. You need to be sending people to prison who should be sent to prison, and not keeping people in custody there are people in custody for months who are still waiting for a trial. Now, there are other problems that Labour are going to have to face, and that's privatization of services within the prison system. So, for example, while probation was privatized some years ago, it was renationalized in 2021 because it was an absolute failure under privatization. Some prison services are run by companies like G4S, Serco, Sodexo. Maintenance of some prisons is privatized as well. Some services in prisons like healthcare, catering and security are privatized, and rehabilitation programs in some cases are privatized as well. So private companies, as we've seen with the water companies, are not very good at doing their job. So Labour have an absolute disaster to deal with. They have prisons that are overflowing, and they have private companies who are, of course, siphoning money away from the public service to their shareholders. So it's not just the water companies that are a problem, but it's also, it seems, almost every aspect of the public service that has come in contact with privatization. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.